This lesson is solve radical equation part 2. Here I have an example, square root x plus 2 and then minus square root x equal 2. Bring this radical x to the other side so that it will be by itself. One more time, bring this square root to the right side so that this square root is by itself. Okay, so since this is negative, I brought it over, it becomes positive square root x. Now this is by itself. Okay, next we want this square root to go away, so we're going to square. So we want this square root to go away, so we square. Wherever we square on the left, we also square on the right. Now on the right side, make sure you square the whole thing. One more time. On the right side, make sure you square the whole thing. Okay, so this square root and this 2 go away, so I just have x plus 2. This little 2 means I'm going to write 2 plus square root x twice. One more time. This square right here means I'm going to write this twice. Okay, so I wrote 2 plus square root x twice. Okay, next I'm going to multiply. 2 times 2 gives me 4. 2 times radical x gives me this 2 radical x. Radical x times 2 is this 2 radical x. And then square root x, since there are 2 of them, I write x squared. One more time. 2 times 2 gives me 4. 2 times square root x is this 2 radical x. Radical x times 2 is this 2 radical x. Here's one square root x, here's another square root x. They are the same, so one x and another x gives me x squared. Okay? Now on the left side, I just bring x plus 2 straight down. Next, I want to combine like term. These 2 right here, they are positive, and it's also positive. So combine like terms, I end up with 4 square root x. One more time, bring down the x plus 2, bring down this 4. This is positive, so 2 plus 2 gives me 4 square root x. Next, this x squared and this square root, again, they are the same, so we can cancel. Square root and square cancel, just as the top right here, square root and square cancel. So same thing here, square root and square, they cancel out. So all I have left is just this x. Okay, next I want to combine like term. So what I did was, now this line right here, I wrote it again so that you can see the work. So what I did was I just moved the 4 over. Since it's positive, becomes minus 4 under the 2. This is positive x, I want to bring it over, become minus x under the other x. Okay, so combine like terms. This 4, bring it over, becomes minus 4 under the 2. This x, bring it over, so become minus x under the other x. This x right here, under this x. Okay, so again, this right here, I just rewrote what I have up here. So I rewrote this line down here, and I moved the 4 over under the 2, move this x under to this other x. Okay, so this 4 go away, this x go away, I just have 4 square root x. 4 square root x goes here, this 4 go away, this x goes away. This x also go away, so 2 subtract 4 gives me this negative 2. Okay, now I want to get rid of this square root 2. I still have this square root, so I'm going to square the whole thing. And what you do to one side must do to the other side. So square both sides. Okay, so again, I still have this square root. I want to get rid of this square root, so square. And also on the other side as well too. So make sure you do one side, the other side must be the same. So square of negative 2 gives me this positive 4. Now 4 square root x squared, I did the work on the side, so 4 squared, and then square root x squared. So you have to square both of these. Again, you have to square both of these. So 4 squared, that's what I have here. Square root x squared, that's what I have here. So 4 squared gives me 16. Square and square root, again, they are the same, so it cancels out. I just have an x. So 4 square root x squared is rewritten as 16x, and the work is on the side. Okay, again, 4 squared and then square root x squared. That's what I have here. So 4 squared gives me 16. Square root and square go away, so I just have this x. Okay, so this right here where I'm circling is rewritten as 16x. Now I want x to be by itself, so divide by 16. So 4 over 16 is 1/4. Okay, so this is the solution to the original problem up here. However, we need to check this if this is true or false. Again, this is the answer to the original problem up here. However, we want to know if this is true or false. So take this 1/4, plug it back into this x and also this x to see if it's true or false. So here's my check. So this used to be an x here, this used to be an x here. Again, take this 1/4, plug it into this x and also this x. Okay, so here's the work on the side, the check part. So this used to be x, this used to be x. Okay, now this right here is adding fractions. Here's my work on the side, 1/4 plus 2. So left, cross multiply left, so that 1 times 1 gives me 1. Don't forget the plus. 4 times 2 gives me this 8, and then 4 times 1 is this 4. So cross multiply left, and then right, and then under multiply. Okay, and then after that 1 plus 8 gives me 9/4. Okay, so 1/4 plus 2 is rewritten as 9/4. Where did I get this 9/4? The work is right here. Okay, after that I want to square root this 9, so that becomes 3. Square root this 4 becomes this 2. Square root this 1 becomes 1. Square root 4 becomes this 2. And I just brought down the 2's on the right hand side straight down. One more time. Square root 9, 3. Square root 4, 2. Square root 1, 1. Square root 4, this 2. Okay, next, since my denominator already the same, then I don't need to do this part. You only do this cross multiply and under multiply if the denominator are not the same. If the denominator are the same, then just add the top or subtract the top. Okay, so again, adding and subtracting fractions, you only do this cross multiply and under multiply if the denominator are not the same. If the denominator are the same, then just add or subtract a cross on top. So 3 subtract 1 gives me this 2. We can still reduce this, so 2 over 2 is 1. I brought the 2 straight down. However, if you notice, 1 cannot equal to 2. That's false. Okay, so 1 cannot equal to 2, so it's false. So therefore, our 1/4, even though 1/4 is the solutions, but when we check 1/4, it came out to be false. So therefore, 1/4 is now no longer the solutions to this equation. And so therefore, there is no solution. One more time. When we solve, it came out to be 1/4. After we check if it's true or false, and it came out to be false, so therefore there is no solution to this equation from the original. Okay, so one more time. This 1/4, after we solve, we have 1/4. But when we check 1/4, it came out to be false. Since it is false, there is no solution from the original equation. Okay, so be very careful. Solve whatever the answer is. Make sure you check. If it's true, then you take the solution. If it's false, you throw it away. So in this case, the 1/4 is false. So technically, there is no solution to the original problem up here. Okay, so be very careful.